Hello, I'm Councilmember Tyron Hampton. I represent the 1st District. I thank all of my neighbors for being here. First of all, I'd like to thank Perry's Joint and Chap Care for allowing us to use this space for our outdoor meeting as it relates to building a better community and starting neighborhood watches. Within our community, there has been a series of issues that has come up. It is extremely important that each and every one of us as individuals do our part. As your city council member, I drive our neighborhoods regularly. I drive our neighborhoods very regularly on my way home, on my way out of Pasadena. But it's important that I'm just one person, but it's important that all of our neighbors do the same thing. When you see something, say something. When you see something that's out of place, to say something. But collectively, once we're all working together collectively, it's going to make our neighborhoods a much better, much safer place. So with us today, we have Hilda from the Pasadena Police Department, and she's going to talk to us about how we could start and form neighborhood watches. Our police department are a tool that we can use. We have a city prosecutor's office. The city has a bunch of different departments that are all tools, but we have to use them, and collectively we have to use them. So Hilda will take it from here. I will close out the meeting, and then I know there will be questions from neighbors about some of the most recent events that have happened, and we will talk about that at the end of the meeting, if that's fine with everybody. So Hilda, come on up. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hilda Jurado, and we are here making an effort to encourage our Pasadena residents to start Neighborhood Watch. The Neighborhood Watch program is an easy concept, but it only works if neighbors work together. And so with me, I have invited 2 guests that are available here to you to answer any questions that you may have, whether it's regarding neighborhood associations or Neighborhood Watch. To me, they are role models. They know how to maintain their neighborhood nice, clean, crime-free. They know that if nothing is taking place, everything is good. They know when and how to call a meeting, and they know how to pretty much take care of their neighborhood, and that's what we need with everyone in Pasadena. The concept, again, is simple. I am your neighbor. I keep an eye on my neighbors to each side of me. You've got Neighborhood Watch there. But you can take it a step further. You decide how comfortable, how small or large the group is. Totally up to you. It's your group. You know in your neighborhood the persons that you can trust and the persons that you can summon to help you make that group. We come in, we can schedule a block party. The 2 groups that I have here have that in common, that every year they do block parties. That's an awesome way for neighbors to come together, and that's a good way to keep the neighborhood together. They take it a step further and they do disaster preparedness. What an awesome tool. For you to know what resources you have in your neighborhood, for you to know that your neighbors have been trained on how to act in the event of an emergency. So that's one step further from Neighborhood Watch. The block party is a perk. It's under the Neighborhood Watch umbrella. We also conduct security inspections for your home. You call us. We'll do interior, well, exterior because of COVID. We'll do exterior. We make lighting. We check your windows for security and make recommendations. It's up to you to implement them. So please take advantage of all the services that we have, of all the tools that we have available. I have brought a list of resources, and all we can do is move forward from here. And if anything, get you motivated to start Neighborhood Watch. So let me introduce John Sandel. And to me, he's the ideal block captain. He's been active for a long time, but he knows what needs to be done on the street. If everything is quiet, everything is good. He knows how and when to reach out to the police if there's crime on the street. So John, would you like to say a few words?
I'm going to take this off if that's okay with everybody. Can you all hear me? Okay, I'm John Sandel. I live on Eldora Road, which is over a little bit east of here between El Molino and Los Robles. I've been there since 2005 with my wife. So what's that, 16, 17 years? I've lost count. I'm only 20, so I don't know math. The block that we moved on to was already a pretty friendly block. We instituted a neighborhood watch effort because there was a property west of us on Los Robles that was exporting bad behavior down our block. So we're the only block of Eldora Road in Pasadena. It's about 1/8 of a mile of road, and everybody pretty well knew each other. We got some more people coming in now. We went to the city and they said, "Are you familiar with Safe Streets Actions," which is a formal action that neighbors can take? And we said no, and they told us all about neighborhood watches, and they introduced us to Nancy Tafoya Gutierrez, who is one of my heroes, who works out of the Jackie Robinson Center over here. Nancy gave us a presentation on how to do Safe Streets Actions, but the precursor to that was to form a neighborhood watch, which is not a formal organization, it's just a joint effort by neighbors. We have about 48 households on Eldora, and I know this because the first organization thing that we did was we had speed humps put in. We got a letter from the city saying you guys are eligible for speed humps to stop fast traffic from coming down your road. And so we organized to do that. You guys too? Did you get the letter? Oh, sorry. How's this? Okay. Or you could come closer. There's traffic. So putting in speed humps brought us together as a block, and then we started to address the issue of bad behavior coming down the street from this property on Los Robles. And by bad behavior, I mean things like speeding, trash, public sex, and defecation. We had drug paraphernalia, and in one instance, we had automatic gunfire coming over a backyard fence next to a house where there was a daycare center. And, obviously this kind of thing isn't acceptable. The neighborhood watch is predicated on really simple ideas. The first one is that we have an email list that everybody has access to. I'm the list admin, but all I did was set up a Gmail account with the block's name on it. And we had a neighborhood meeting. We have a neighborhood meeting every year. And in the meeting, we decided in that example that everybody has equal access to the list. People can post anything they want to the email list as long as it's about safety-related issues. No baby showers or, used equipment for sale, that kind of thing. And that gave everybody a central point for collecting information. Then to address the troubled property that we were dealing with on Los Robles, we worked with this representative from the city on the Safe Streets Action. And if it's okay, I just want to sketch that out briefly because people aren't necessarily clear on what this is. Safe Streets is an ad hoc arrangement that neighborhoods can get involved in that has no national organization. It's strictly neighborhood by neighborhood, but it's been pretty popular. It was started up in the Oakland area in the 1980s by a couple of families where there was a house that was selling drugs on their street, and it was bringing in violence and bad behavior. In Pasadena, the way it worked for us was we worked with this representative from the city, Nancy Tafoya Gutierrez, who organized everybody in Eldora who wanted to take part because it wasn't mandatory, it's purely voluntary. And she gave us all log sheets in which to write down behavior that we thought was deleterious to our quality of life, the kind of thing I was describing. And I don't remember how long we kept these logs. It was several months. The idea was to bring evidence of bad behavior and neighborhood activities that we think was damaging our quality of life to the attention of the authorities, including the city attorney and the courts. Once the process of logging this behavior had gone on for long enough, I collected all the papers, went back to the city, who gave them to the city attorney and got the approval, the work had been done properly. And the neighbors had agreed that we would all file small claims for damages to our quality of life against the owner of the property which was exporting the bad behavior. It was a single household. And what I learned was the courts like this because it stands the chance of reducing their caseload. You've got neighbors getting together to improve their quality of life, using the small claims court as a tool to get attention from property owners who are acting in a deleterious way. And sure enough, we've collected all these papers. I went over to El Monte and hired a process server. That, along with a letter from the city attorney, was delivered to the troubled property. And then we went into a mediated negotiation, me and a representative from the property and somebody from the city, just 3 people in a room trying to figure out how to stop the bad behavior from coming down Eldora. And about a week later, it all was over. We had fixed the problem. If they had not responded, we would have pursued our small claims in court as individual neighbors, but as a group that the court recognizes. And if all of the small claims had been approved for damages by the court, the amount that we would have been owed by the property owner would have exceeded the amount that the property was worth. And that's what got their attention. Now, that's a pretty extreme tool to use, but in our case, we had talked to the property owners, we had worked with them, we thought, and hadn't gotten kind of results we wanted, so we resorted to that. And that was a direct outgrowth of our neighborhood watch. If we hadn't gotten together with each other, had our annual meetings, worked with the police, and listened to the city's advice on this, our effort would have fallen apart, I'm sure, because we wouldn't have known what we were doing. So what I learned from this was that there are instruments in place in city policy, working with the city attorney and the cops, to get attention, to stay cohesive, and to keep communicating with each other. Because, I mean, I don't know what your experience is, but mine is that your neighbors probably don't care too much about your preferences unless they know you personally. You just become another stranger to them. And I'm one of the guys who will go across the street and ask somebody to turn it down or, clean up the trash, that kind of thing. Doesn't always work, but I figure that's what neighbors do. So that's pretty much all I know. We instituted the Neighborhood Watch. We exercised the Safe Streets action as a group. We got the results we wanted, and that was several years ago, and there haven't been any problems since. None of that stuff has gone on. That's what I got.
Thank you, John. Thank you for doing that. Awesome. And so another role model is Garfield Heights Neighborhood Association. And I love the fact that they do everything from street cleanups to social events to a huge block party that everyone enjoys. And they're so inclusive. And there's one person here that is responsible for that. And if you could come up, please, Lisa Mann.
Yeah, I would just say that I'm definitely not, it's not one person, because our success as a neighborhood is that we are really inclusive. That's the word I love that you used about us, because we have a very active neighborhood association. It's been since 1998, actually, when we became a landmark historic district, the second landmark historic district after Bungalow Heaven. So we started as a group then, because...
Do you mind if you just speak up a little bit?
Can I take this off? Okay.
We're outside.
I even wore lipstick, so we're good. Yeah, we started in 1998 because we're an historic landmark district. And so it's a pretty large area. It's Washington, Los Robles, Mountain, and Marengo. And that's 400 properties including single-family homes and apartment buildings mixed. And so it's rather large, but we started with that, and then we got very organized pretty quickly. And so for 20 years, I've been on and off. I've been on the board of our neighborhood association. One of the first things we did was get Neighborhood Watch, and that allowed us to then sponsor block parties, which Hilda was talking about. We have had an annual block party pretty much every single year since. Last year was the first year we didn't. It was COVID. But we had one again this year. It was fantastic. We actually fund it ourselves. It's gotten bigger and bigger. It's really wonderful. It brings the whole neighborhood out. We also do many other things. We have happy hours that are very popular. We have a home tour because we have the historic homes, so we raise money for our events by having home tours. I should also say that we have a really great communication system. We have 270 people on Nextdoor. No, on our MailChimp newsletter that goes out every single month. We have a private Facebook group which has 150 people on it, and so whenever something might happen, good or bad, people post on our Facebook page so that we all know if, somebody's going door to door, let's just say, and it's a stranger and they're kind of like shady. We don't know what's going on. They're trying to sell something. It seems funny. That's going to show up on our Facebook page, and people will be talking about it. We also have Nextdoor, Garfield Heights. That's 500 people on Nextdoor. That's just for Garfield Heights. We're also getting everybody prepared. We have block captains for disaster prep, so we are getting walkie-talkies. We have tents. We have first aid kits. We're just super organized. We have under the bed bags with the people can put all of their grab stuff to go in an earthquake. Gosh, I'm sorry. There's so much. Yeah, we have a great website. But we've been doing it for 20 years. So I would just say, look, you're going to start. You're brand new. You're going to start with something small. You're not Garfield Heights yet. You will be, but you're not yet. That's okay. You're just going to get to know each other, because the most important thing is you have to get to know each other if you're going to care about each other. And once you know each other and you care about each other, then you're going to start looking out for each other. And then, you'll know if something's wrong, because you'll know that neighbor down the street, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. What is that car doing? They're not moving. Why are all of their furnishings going out into that van, and that van seems to be going down the street? I know they're not moving because I know them. So it's that kind of thing. You just have to get to know each other and talk to each other. Is that enough? Okay.
So next, I'm going to introduce Lieutenant Taglioretti, and she is the lieutenant in charge of your service area when it comes to patrol officers. So tonight, we might not be able to answer all your questions. Some of the incidents that have taken place are under investigation, but we can guarantee you that if you reach out to us, everyone here has signed their name and phone number, and everyone here will get a copy. So now you're going to have that contact person that you need when you want those answers. So if anything, you will take that with you. I will make sure that everyone here gets a copy. But let me introduce Lieutenant Taglioretti.
Good evening. My name is Marcia Taglioretti, Lieutenant with the Pasadena Police Department. And I am the lieutenant that oversees the service area where you all live, which is Northwest Pasadena, and that is known as Service Area 2. As a police department, we have 5 service areas, and we have lieutenants that oversee each service area. And just like what was mentioned here tonight, and especially from Hilda, what helps us, and not only forming your association, your neighborhood watch and association, is calling our department, and there's information that'll be provided for you, calling our department. If it's non-emergency, there's a number there. If something's not right, obviously you're going to call if you need help. But don't hesitate to call us. It's good to speak to one another and know your neighbors. But if there's something that's not right, or something, and you know your neighborhood, you'll get that sense, please don't hesitate to call us. I work during the week, the evenings. I'm actually off this week. Someone's covering my shift tonight. But I work during the week, Monday through Thursday. In the evenings, I'm there from 3 p.m. to 1 in the morning. So, our police department's 24/7. So there's always coverage there with our supervisors and watch commanders and officers. And there's officers that work within your service area throughout the day. Morning, we have 3 shifts. Our morning shift starts at 5:30 in the morning, that's our briefing, and they're off at 6 p.m. We have a mid-shift that starts at, their briefing is at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. They're off at 12:30 in the morning. And then our night shift, the team that I have, they start at 5:30 in the evening and they're off at 6 in the morning. So they're the graveyard shift. All right. So again, thank you all, first off, for being here. I mean, this is the first start, and it doesn't matter how small. Again, it's just that you came together and you're here to get something going. And I appreciate it, and thank you. Mm-hmm.
As you've heard from our speakers today, it is important that we all as a community work together. Getting to know one of your neighbors is number one key importance to starting a neighborhood watch, but also looking for things that you know in your neighborhood that are not normal or something that you're not used to seeing, to reach out to your service area lieutenant, reach out to your council member, reach out to your police department about those activities so that they can look out. Relatively, our district is the safest district year to date, based on crime, safest district to live in the city of Pasadena. I do understand that if you live on a street where there has been a flare-up of crime, you probably don't feel that way. But I do want you to know that we are going to work together. I will continually drive your neighborhood and call out things, but I'm asking you to do the same with me. I think it is important that all of us get together, have a conversation, communicate with one another, wave to your neighbor, talk to them about things on the block that you see that may be out of place so that we can address them quickly. And as you have heard, the Safe Street Action is actually something that works. And if we get together collectively, we can make this happen. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you, everybody who was enjoyed or watched this at any point. If you're thinking about starting a neighborhood watch in your neighborhood, please do not hesitate to reach out to our police department. Information will be below. Everybody have a great night. Love you. God bless.